Breaking just moments ago, Hillary Clinton responding to a sexual assault scandal that she reportedly ignored during her 2008 campaign. We'll tell you what she's saying now and a lot more coming up. Great segment.
Millions of us suffer from the symptoms of dry eye. There are tears.
That Hillary Clinton protected a senior campaign advisor back in 2008. Her faith consultant, Bernd Strider. He's accused of sexually harassing a female coworker. According to 8 former campaign officials, Clinton's campaign manager recommended firing Strider back in 2008. Instead, Hillary reportedly docked his pay and sent him to counseling. And Hillary Clinton just tweeted out her first public response to the story, writing, "A story appeared today about something that happened in 2008. I was dismayed when it occurred, but was heartened. The young woman came forward, was heard, and had her concerns taken seriously and addressed. I called her today to tell her how proud I am of her and to make sure she knows what all women should. We deserve to be heard." That's not my best Hillary impersonation, but I do a better one. Let's get reaction from radio host, Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce in New York. And here in Washington with me is Jose Aristimuño, former DNC Deputy Press Secretary. I love saying it, Aristimuño. I like saying it correctly. Great to see both of you. All right. Hey. Tammy, I'm going to give you the first bite of the apple with Hillary. I mean, she makes this statement on Twitter. Fine. Everybody has a right to be heard. That does not change the underlying point here that in the campaign itself, she was put on notice as his conduct. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
And she decided to protect him.
From both her national campaign director and the campaign manager told her to fire him. If Hillary, in calling this young woman, which also might have been seen as an effort at intimidation, because she apparently has not called her in the last 10 years, because this happened during the 2008 campaign. If Hillary really wants all women to be heard, she should remove the non-disclosure agreements that everyone in that campaign is burdened by, including this young woman. In addition, did she apologize for removing that young woman from her position and out of that man's purview, while just, again, docking his pay, as you noted, but she was removed from her job and placed in a different job, but she was the one who had to make the adjustment. And after all of this time, this young woman has not been able to speak up. As you've mentioned, the New York Times spoke with 8 people, and this is the other underlying lead, Laura, is that all these people knew, not just through the 2008 campaign, but then through Obama's 8 years, and then through the 2016 campaign, which many people say was the inspiration in a certain way for the Me Too movement. And Hillary didn't just not fire him. She resisted the requests of other women on that campaign to do that.
Jose, let's go to you on this. Hillary has had a history of protecting men who get in trouble. Obviously, her husband being the most important one. But then remember what happened with Juanita Broderick. She actually, according to Juanita, who alleged that the president, former President Clinton, many years ago raped her, sexually assaulted her, that Hillary actually added to the intimidation and basically, said to her, we don't want to make this a big deal. The bimbo eruptions that James Carville talked about, we got to put those down. And now this. How does she come off as this great champion of women and, as Tammy said, kicking off the Me Too movement with this history?
Well, look, let's first of all, talking about what happened in 2008, I can't speak in detail because, we don't have all the evidence.
Well, 8 people, 8 women.
But I can tell you this.
8 women.
If it's true, Laura, no one should be protected. If you've committed any sort of sexual misconduct, you should not be protected. I mean, period. I don't
know what happened with this guy, by the way. I mean, I'm loath to say that because one person accused another person, that it's definitely true, because we know memories fade, people have grievances. But if it's a number of people who either knew this contemporaneously or not, then it's serious. But if it's one person, I'm not willing to throw people right overboard, because I don't think that's fair to men or women, but continue.
Look, if these allegations are true and it appears that it could be true, I don't care if you're Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, right? We know our president has done plenty of that, right? You should not be protected.
So in the end, the Me Too movement has to sacrifice liberal heroes at times, correct? Like Harvey Weinstein, obviously. It's interesting that Harvey Weinstein and Hillary best pals. I mean, he supported the Clintons for years, raised millions of dollars for them. So Harvey Weinstein, Bill Clinton's problems, now Hillary alleged to have covered up another instance of sexual abuse. I mean, again, her first being with her husband, standing by her man, going after the bimbo eruption, and now this. How can that lead to the Me Too hashtag movement after Donald Trump wins? I just find that to be an odd trajectory.
Well, I think it's a little bit different. Just because some of these folks who have done some horrible things have donated to the Democratic Party and have given us millions of dollars doesn't make us the bad guys. Doesn't mean that we agree with everything that they have done.
Yeah, we should say Steve Wynn has been accused of wrongdoing, who's now the RNC finance chair and pal of Donald Trump's. That came out today, and there's multiple allegations of wrongdoing on his part. So there's a lot to be answered for. Okay, last night, guys, I don't know if you saw it, but I interviewed Vicente Fox, who was a lot of fun, by the way, former president of Mexico, very colorful guy. He has adopted 4 kids, so he's near and dear to my heart for that. We don't agree on anything else, however. And he said this. I wanted to ask him about borders. Do borders matter? Should we even have a border with Mexico? He's a huge critic of the president, said very nasty things about the president, but let's watch. Should we have any border with Mexico at this point? Do we need a border? Really?
No, there is no choice.
Okay. But you would prefer not to have a border?
Neighbors.
Okay, so we shouldn't have a border.
God didn't create borders.
So he basically said, Tammy, I got him to say, well, no, not really. We shouldn't have a border. Yeah. And he wouldn't answer whether he had a fence at his own house, by the way.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Your questions were perfect because he wasn't going to answer anything. And for his adopted kids, they're learning that they should just learn how to ask really good questions because Daddy won't really answer straightly with whatever it is they want to know. But look, that's the key, is that he doesn't have answers when pushed. Of course, he doesn't answer because any normal conventional answer would reinforce what the president wants. But your questions, though, as a result, were great in that they expose that lack of an ability for him to answer a basic thing like, do you have a fence at your house? When you refuse to answer that, you know that you're on the wrong side.
Jose.
We're a nation of laws. We're a nation of immigrants. Of course, we need borders, but we need to do it in a humane way, plain and simple.
Well, we might have a see-through wall after all.
Sure.
It might be a wall that you see through. Don't explain. I'm not going to explain that. But hey, guys,
why not?
Happy Friday. Great to see both of you.
Same
and by
to
the
you.
way, guys, what's the difference between Donald Trump and Jeb Bush? Well, we're going to demonstrate with some examples from the last 24 hours. Jeb is back, and it ain't pretty.
When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Chewy Bites. Fast relief in every bite. Crunchy outside, chewy inside. Tums Chewy Bites.
Who can't figure out why? Why did Donald Trump win? Or even who's leading the party? Well, Jeb resurfaced in a USA Today interview this afternoon. We actually ran into him earlier tonight. It's a little uncomfortable. And he's again lashing out at the president. Well, to compare and contrast this interview with the president's performance at Davos, we're joined by Fox News contributor Ramon Arroyo.
Oh, I like that.
Ramon Arroyo. Yes, I'm into my Spanish tonight. Okay, this was Jeb Bush today. USA Today interviewed him. Let's watch.
Who's the head of the Republican Party right now, in your view?
Well, it has to be the president.
Took you a second.
Well, I mean, he's not. He doesn't represent. I don't think he's a traditional conservative.
What? Was he confused by the question?
Well,
who's the leader of the party? And I can't imagine why he got the nickname Low Energy.
Here's my first question.
Well,
why are they even talking to Jeb Bush now? Is Carly Fiorina and Governor Gilmore going to make an appearance next? I mean, what are the qualifications? The president is triumphing at Davos, and but they're interviewing poor Jeb, and this is part of the reason he lost. And it's so
okay,
it breaks my heart.
I like him.
He's
I like
a lovely man.
He was a great governor of Florida. We saw him tonight.
He's a gentleman, a school choice advocate,
He
and I
was
have
great,
to tell
and
you,
so- okay, that's
he's
enough.
really good at that. But
Okay,
let
but
me move on.
he's mean to Trump all the time.
But look at the optics. He's sitting in a middle school library
What
on a
is that?
child's chair, and he looks like he's being schooled by
Deflated.
the principal. It's very sad.
Okay, now
Trump would never allow himself
Oh, no,
to be
no, no.
interviewed
So
like this.
compare and contrast that with, well,